everyone, welcome back. I know I've been gone a little bit, sorry about that. I just needed a little time to have a break, but I am back and I should have videos out regularly now. So sorry for the month of having off. But I am back and I am super excited because there has been a lot of new stuff happening in the Warriors fandom especially. So I'm really excited to talk about that kind of stuff. The graphic novel Winds of Change just came out, and I will be going to talk about that soon, as well as some other content as well. But today, I'm going to talk about the new arc that was announced to start next spring, which I'm super excited about. You can probably guess why by now, if you know me too well. But I'm going to go through what we know about it, and I'm actually really surprised some of my theories, or some of the things I was like, wouldn't this be cool if they did that, but they probably won't, and they actually did. Anyhow, that's just a quick little, I get really excited about this. I don't know if this next arc will be interesting, except for a few areas. I have no idea yet, but I was really impressed with the Broken Code so far. Even the last book, even if it isn't, spectacular. This arc has been my favorite overall, just even these 5. So I'm at least interested to see where this is going for sure. So anyway, I'm gonna get started. So I think it was a little less than a month ago, but I saw this come up. Someone told me, they're like, look at Warriors new stuff. But anyway, Starless Clan is the name of the next arc as a whole, and the first book will be River, which is super nice because River Clan barely gets any attention. But it's so awesome. So the Starless Clan, that name just was ooh, a Starless Clan, which makes me I'm going to talk about some theories I have in a little bit, because it makes this part interesting, and I'm going to talk about it. Anyway, and the first book is named River, so I'm going to just throw out a guess that they're probably going to have, river and thunder and wind and shadow and sky, and then, star or something, probably as the titles for these books, which I think is interesting because they've never done that before, but not necessarily clever titles. The Broken Code I think had really clever titles, which I liked, but it's still cool. This hasn't happened before. I don't necessarily care the title. I just think it's cool when they have a clever title like The Silent Thaw or Fading Echoes. That sounds cool, but this is still neat. It'd also be cool if they give each clan a focus in each book. Even if we don't have a Wind Clan or a Sky Clan or a Star Clan. Well, maybe we have a Star Clan. I don't know. Even if we don't have perspectives in those books, it would still be cool if they give them some attention. So, because we don't know where the arc is going. So it would be interesting if they did that. But, anyway, on the front cover, we have Misty Star, which means she won't die in the Broken Code, which I kind of was assuming. I was kind of hoping she might die just because she's so old, but you know what? At this point, it doesn't matter. I think that the warrior cats honestly die too young of old age, in my opinion, because I know a lot of barn cats that live 20 plus years old, several actually. So, when you live on a farm, I've seen a lot of cats, and most of them live well past 18. I'm not kidding. So Misty Star is actually quite a bit more accurate, really, when it comes to a cat that has access to herbs and good medical care from a trained professional like Mothwing. So, technically, but I was also kind of thinking she'll probably die soon. I'll personally miss her. I think Misty Star's not a bad leader. I know a lot of people give her a bad rap, but whatever. Anyway, I'm glad to see that she's getting some more attention too, because I feel like Thunder Clan leaders and Leaf Star and whatever leader is the leader of Shadow Clan are the only leaders that get any kind of attention or development. And I really, especially River Clan, want them to get some attention, and now we finally are. So I'm really hoping Misty Star gets some time to shine before she goes out, because I do have a feeling she's probably going to die in this arc. It just seems like she will, since they have her on the cover and everything. They're going to give her a little bit of time, but she'll probably end up dying at some point. So we have Misty Star on the cover, but then we have our 3 new protagonists, which I am so excited about. So we have Sunbeam of Shadow Clan, and Sunbeam was, I was like, oh wait, that's Needletail's sister, right? And I was like, yeah, I looked it up and it was. It's Berryheart and Sparrowtail's second litter. I always thought Sunbeam had a cute name. She was just one of those background characters that I actually adored before it was cool, just because I liked her name. I didn't think of beam being a valid suffix until Sunbeam came along, and I was like, ooh, Moonbeam would be a cool name, but, you know. But anyway, so I like Sunbeam a lot as far as in theory goes. And then we also have Flamepaw, who I don't know much about. He's probably the protagonist I'm the least excited about as of right now. I'm still interested to read, obviously, anything about him, but I just feel like I'll read the blurb here in a minute and go over the points, but I think he has the least to offer at this point. It would be really interesting to hear what Sunbeam has to offer, because she has a perspective of being born outside the clan. It's kind of similar to Shadowsight, except she's a warrior without issues as far as we know. Like, she doesn't have any problems or some ghost that haunts her. Like, I mean, she could, but I doubt it. So it's kind of interesting. Like, maybe, I don't know. I'll talk about some theories later. And then we have Frostpaw, who I'm the most excited about. I'm just thrilled, because I said in my last video, I was like, now that Willowshine's dead, I was like, Curlfeather has that litter of kits, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if one of them became the next Medicine Cat apprentice? Because, like, Mothwing's pretty old, and she'll probably live at this point, even though I was like, maybe she'll die, but it was Willowshine, not Mothwing, who died. But I was really, really excited, because I was like, maybe one of them would become the apprentice, and at least maybe we'd have a new River Clan character. And I was like, maybe beyond some kind of hope, they would be a protagonist. And I'm just like, what? Like, as soon as it was announced, I just squealed with joy. No kidding. I was so excited, because it's like River Clan is barely represented. Like, lately, I feel like they've been doing an excellent job of trying to get out some material. Like, last year's graphic novel, A Shadow in River Clan, was spectacular. It was like one of the best books in the series, in my opinion. It is just so good with development and clicks, and I loved it. I loved it all, like, up and down. One of my favorites. I still actually go back and read it sometimes. It's so good. And then, of course, we have Leopard Star Super Edition that's coming out soon. It's in the fall sometime. Which I also was like, I think Leopard Star might get the book just from her development in the graphic novel. It seemed like they did her halfway, and sure enough, she was getting a super edition, and I'm just so excited about that, because I think that could, I think it's meant to loosely tie into River Clan getting more attention, but I think it would be interesting to have some of the characters that are probably distantly maybe related to Frostpaw get some attention. Who knows? River Clan isn't that explored. And if I remember correctly, I don't think Frostpaw or Frostkit right now. She's Frostkit right now, but she'll be Frostpaw in the book. I don't think she actually has a confirmed father, if I remember correctly. I just know it's Curlfeather, because I'm apparently the only one who reads the River Clan allegiances, because I'm interested in them. I love River Clan, and River Clan gets almost no attention until, recently. So it makes me happy, because I love it. I'm so glad River Clan's getting a perspective. That's the highlight of this art for me. I would read it just on that alone. Plus, it would help if it's good, so we'll see. Anyway, those are the protagonists, but I'm going to go through and some of my thoughts on that. But I'm going to go through it, so I'm not going to read the whole blurb for you guys, because that would be dull. So I'm just going to go over the main points. But basically, it says that now, at the end of at the start of this arc, there will be peace in the clans, and a promise of hope, which means that the whole Ashfur Dark Forest thing will be resolved. However, the title A Starless Clan makes me think that maybe the whole Star Clan thing won't be resolved. And I've had thoughts about that before, because the thing is, the Dark Forest whole issue there doesn't really have to do, Ashfur's blocked off Star Clan, but we really don't know what's going on in Star Clan at all. And we also don't know if those cats are even around still. It's been mentioned a couple times that they might have faded, and that is still a possibility until proved otherwise. So the title of Starless Clan, a lot of the books, especially even Grey Stripe's Vow, has hinted that the cats need to think for themselves a little bit more and, have faith but still trust in them, in themselves, and work things out without constantly being like, hey, Star Clan, what should we do? Should we pick up this stick? It's like, should we catch a mouse or a vole? Please tell us. But, it's, I wonder, and I think it would be really good because I see this arc also has no prophecy written about it, which is amazing because I think these books actually benefit from not having prophecies. I think all books benefit from not having prophecies in them because I could go into a whole video about why I think having a prophecy in a story actually hinders where the story could go more than helps it. But that's a discussion for another time. But the point is, I don't see a prophecy tied to this arc, so that really seems to indicate that maybe StarClan isn't around anymore. Or maybe it's just, like, whatever ghosts get there, or something. It's hard to tell. We don't have, I was actually expecting the next book to maybe be Spotfur's kit, or Bristleroot's kit, but none of that's mentioned. In fact, Bristlefrost and Rootspring aren't mentioned at all, and none of that, so it's kind of, it's kind of like a mystery, which is good because that will leave the next book's ending to be a mystery. Like, we know the plot will be resolved. We know Misty Star's not going to die, or Sunbeam, or Frostkit, or Flamepaw, but we don't know what's going to happen with StarClan. That's good. So I almost wonder if StarClan won't be around, and that would be good, because that would be another thing that maybe these characters have to solve. Or maybe they just say, well, StarClan doesn't exist anymore, we have to figure this out for ourselves. So that would be cool. And then it talks about the warrior code will change, which I'm just so glad about, because I feel like lately, like, since I feel like book 2 was like the climax of the warrior code drama, a little bit in Veil of Shadows, but I really feel like it was more like a big deal in the Silent Thaw, is the issue with rounding the warrior code. I feel like that's been dropped, but I'm glad to see they're not going to forget it, because I can forgive that whole forgetting about it for Dark Forest drama if they resolve that issue at the end, because that's what's important, really, when you have an arc. You can go off on a tangent as long as you resolve this problem at the end. So I'm glad to see they're going to change it, and it's unprecedented, and I don't know what that means. Like, why is it so sudden? Why did they suddenly decide to do it? Don't know. I don't know if that has something to do with Bristlefrost and Rootspring. I don't think Bristlefrost is pregnant, because they seem to have come to terms that they are not going to become mates. But, like, if Bristlefrost and Rootspring had decided to be mates separately in different clans, then I would say maybe she's pregnant and they have kids or something, but that doesn't seem to be the case. So I'm not sure what's going to happen there to do that, at all. And I'm also not sure what the leaders will be. They kind of veil that a little bit. Like, we know Misty Star's alive, but we don't know if Bramblestar lives. I would kind of be glad if he didn't, because this whole thing has been such an issue from the beginning. I think it would be a nice twist to build it up like they want him to live, and he dies. I also want Squirrelflight to die. I'm sorry, Squirrelflight, you had a good run, but it's time we get some new characters. And Squirrelflight, she's alright, but I don't think she'd make the best leader. She's a good deputy. Don't think she'd make a great leader. It's time for Ivy Pool to shine. Anyway, let's go forward here. So then it's talking about Flamepaw, and this is why I don't find him that interesting. It just says he's going to have issues, figuring out how he's a descendant of Firestar and struggling with that, legacy. And it's like, yeah, that's basically been every Firestar kit's problem since, like, I don't know, like, Power 3 even, like, I don't know. And even Bramblestar, like, I don't know. It's just been a thing, like, struggling with their family's legacy, bad or good. And I don't find that too interesting, unless Flamepaw's story takes a different twist or turn, or maybe he struggles with that at first and then has some other problems later. I might forgive that, but, or maybe he's got an interesting personality. Maybe he'll end up being kind of like Jayfeather, being a little bit of a grump or something on the outside. That would be fun. We haven't had a sarcastic main character in a long time, which would be really fun to have, I think, again. So it's hard to tell. It sounds like he's anxious, almost like Alderheart a little bit to me, but who knows? Maybe he'll end up being like someone else, or maybe he's even like Hollyleaf a little bit, which would be cool. Kind of like that straddling insanity. I'd like that. Anyway, Then we have Sunbeam, and it says she has doubts. Now, I don't know what that means because it's not very descriptive there, but what I took that to mean is she has doubts about clan life. Like that's been thrown into question a lot lately as the clan and accepting it and the warrior code in general and where you belong. And let's not forget Sunbeam was born I think she was born in Tiger Shadow if I remember right, and she wasn't born in Shadow Clan. She was born basically as a rogue. She might actually be questioning her place in Shadow Clan. She hasn't had any time to shine at all since she was born. Maybe she has issues. Maybe she thinks she'd be better as a rogue. And in fact, it would be interesting to have maybe a main character that decides maybe she doesn't want to live in Shadow Clan, or maybe she's debating whether a rogue life would be better. And it would be interesting maybe to have her perspective of maybe she journeys around a little bit. Maybe she sees the cats at the old church or something. Maybe she spends time with the sisters. She is a female cat. Who knows? It would be kind of interesting maybe to have her doing something else in the plot and maybe have Flamepaw and Frostpaw doing something more in clan, having political issues, where Sunbeam could have a bit more she's not a senior warrior, but she's an older warrior now, so maybe she has more of external issues or something. It might sound like a side quest, but it would be kind of interesting maybe to have that. I don't know. I know some people might not like that idea, but I actually could find the book kind of interesting if Sunbeam was maybe doing her own thing as a senior, not a senior warrior, but an older warrior, figuring out her place in the world. And then we had Flamepaw struggling with his legacy and Frostpaw learning about medicine stuff. It maybe would actually be interesting, dividing the plot a little bit. I found last art to be interesting for that reason, actually, that the plot was divided a little bit between 3 stories that at the end connect, but during the story didn't seem to connect. Or at least I feel like the roads are connecting in the book 5, all 3 of the main characters, even if at first they didn't interact much. So you know what I mean? That's just my thoughts. And then we have Frostpaw, who I'm just thrilled about. I want to hug her. I just love her. I'm so excited. But it says, she's more eager and confident sounding in that well, first of all, it sounds like she chose the job of Medicine Cat. Maybe she didn't, but it sure sounds like she did, because she sounds happy to be a Medicine Cat apprentice. I was actually kind of hoping it would be maybe Grey Kit, her sibling, because I was thinking it would be more interesting to have varied names, because Frostpaw looks like Bristlefrost and she has the frost part of the name. I just think for having the next arc would be better to have a character that's a little different, varied or something. But whatever. Frostpaw's great. I don't care about that too much. Just a thought. But and it says that her day to help her clan is going to dawn sooner, so that means something will happen. We don't have a good idea of what's going to happen, but we do have an idea that something's going to happen pretty quickly. Kind of like Shadowsight, I guess, where he was struggling a bit, but then something happened really quickly. Whereas it sounds like Frostpaw's not as insecure maybe as Shadowsight. Yeah, she wanted the job, but it sounds like she wanted the job at least, but maybe she's a bit more confident, which would be interesting to have in a Medicine Cat. I'd like that. Jayfeather's confident, but not about being a Medicine Cat. He's just a little jerk, but I love him. And I hope Jayfeather lives. I'd love to see him interact with Frostpaw a little bit. That would be cool. I don't feel like we've had a good, amount of Jayfeather in this book, and I'd like to see Jayfeather do more. Especially maybe now that StarClan's gone, maybe it's Jayfeather's time to finally get a super edition, which I would just buy and hug and be so happy with. But it's going to be interesting seeing, I'd like to start making predictions about who's going to get probably the quote-unquote prequel super edition for this arc. Because as I said before in one of my videos talking about the super edition pattern and predicting it, it's probably going to be next. We have Leopard Super Edition that's coming out here soon, and that's going to be a book that's just takes place on an entirely different time frame somewhere in the past or something. It's not about this arc per se. Maybe it loosely ties in, but it's not really about it. So I have a feeling the next one's going to be some kind of in between the Broken Code and a Starless Clan kind of book. And who knows, maybe it's Jay Feather, maybe it's not. If we have if we have Bramblestar and Squirrelflight die, it'll probably be whatever cat becomes leader. At least that's what I would guess. If I don't know, if just Bramblestar dies, I have no idea. I guess maybe the deputy? I don't know. I want to read the first book in the spring to make that prediction before I say anything about that, because I don't know where this book is going. I just have the vague ideas about it. But anyway, I guess that's just my thoughts on the book as a whole. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, except I'm just excited to get more information, or I even might have some things I want to say after the last book in the Broken Code comes out. I think that's in November, or maybe I'll have even something to say about Leopard Star Super Edition when that comes out. I don't know. But I should be back with more content here soon. I definitely want to talk about the Winds of Change graphic novel and stuff like that. But anyway, thank you for taking the time to listen, and I hope you guys have a great time. Bye!